Investors who purchase a business in Canada can eventually get permanent residency. Hello, my name is Rita Benkhalti and I am a regulated Canadian immigration consultant with North Horizon Immigration. Today, I will talk in details about how a person can purchase a business in Canada and eventually get permanent residency. For today's video, we are going to focus on the free trade agreements that Canada has with different countries, which allows the citizens or permanent residents of those countries to purchase a business in Canada for permanent residency purposes. Let's start with the list of which countries this applies to. Number 1, United States, and then Mexico, also every single member state of the European Union. Then we have citizens and permanent residents of Australia, citizens and permanent residents of Peru, as well as citizens of Japan, South Korea, Colombia, and Chile. Vietnam is also on that list. So how does this all work? How are you now sitting at your home and eventually kind of dreaming about having this business in Canada and getting permanent residency for yourself and your family? The first thing that needs to happen is to select which business you're going to buy. And of course, it's very difficult to make that decision if you are abroad. So in this case, we always recommend that you start by kind of just searching online. You can speak with a real estate agent who takes care of selling businesses. They're often called business brokers, and they will give you an idea of which businesses are for sale right now in the different cities of interest that you have in Canada. In our case, most of our clients will immigrate to British Columbia, the whole province of British Columbia. The reason for this is that foreigners can own 100% of the shares of a corporation in British Columbia. This makes things much faster and much easier for foreigners because they can come here, create a corporation, and already start their operations. They don't need to partner up with a Canadian citizen, like is the case in Ontario or Alberta. So that's the first thing you need to do. Start just screening which businesses you feel are interested to you and to your profile while you are not in Canada yet. The second step will be to get you here actually on the grounds so you can do what we call your due diligence. This will be your business trip. You will come to Canada, you will visit all the businesses that you thought were interesting to you, and you will start looking into, are they really that interested? Really, how many, what is the revenue? What is the return that you would get on your investment? How many years it would take you to get this money back after you've purchased this business? Is this really a place that you can imagine yourself being in? Because remember, as I said in a previous video, only active investment will be considered. You cannot simply purchase a business and then never attend the business. So that doesn't mean you're going to have to be, if it's a coffee shop, actually serving the coffee to the people. That's not what you will be doing. But you will be there taking the decisions about, do you have to revamp this coffee shop? Do you need to purchase new equipment for the coffee shop? How many people are you going to hire? All of the high level director and management position responsibilities will fall on you. So you have to make sure you actually like this business. Now, once you've done all of this due diligence and you see that the numbers make sense and you like the business, so you can see a future for growth for this business and for yourself in that business, then you can actually go ahead and purchase it. And yes, you will have to purchase the business before we send anything to the Canadian government. So this is an investor process for immigrating, and as an investor you have to have a certain amount of risk. So the government wants to see that you're actually interested in taking that financial risk in that business, that this is not just a promise that you want to buy the business, then you get your work permit and then you don't buy the business. And so the government doesn't want that. That's why they kind of quote unquote almost force you to have the business purchased before making any applications. You are ready to purchase this business because you're convinced that it's a very, very sound financial decision for yourself. In this moment, we can create what is called a corporation for you. We actually register an entity that will be owned by you, and you can be the owner 100% of this corporation, and the corporation will purchase the business. Now that you have purchased your business, you're ready to prepare an application for Canadian immigration. What we are going to apply for first is a work permit. You will request a work permit as an investor. And what we need to prepare for that is an immigration application and also a business plan, because you need to show the government what you will be doing once you're owner of this business. So that can include things like enhancing the appearance of the business, or maybe retraining some of your staff. And also, speaking of staff, very important, you don't want to be laying off all of your staff. It's very good to show that you're going to maintain employment once you acquire this business. These are some common questions our clients always ask me. The first thing is, how long can I stay in Canada once they give me my investor work permit? Excellent question. The first work permit you will receive will be good for 1 year. This is the first year that the government gives you as a trial, just to make sure you're actually here, you'll be actively managing your investment, and then after that year you decide what you want to do. Because some people just come here for a year, get their business going, and then go back to their country and just put a manager in place. But if you want to remain in Canada, we have to do two things after the first year. The first thing we do is apply for an extension for your work permit. So this extension will be good for usually 2 or 3 more years after that. Then we also, almost at the same time, apply for your permanent residency if you want to become a permanent resident and if you are ready for this application. The other very common question I get is, what happens with my family if I have a partner and if I have children? Well, the good news is, with the investor work permit, your partner will receive what we call an open work permit. This will be a permit that allows your partner to work anywhere in any Canadian company. Your partner can work in your business if they want to get involved, or they can get a job somewhere else. And if they don't want to work, that's also okay. They need that work permit just to have a status in the country, but they're not obliged to work. For your children, any children who have age to go to school, which is usually it's 5 in Canada. If they're 5 or higher in years, then they will receive a student permit. Your children can only be part of your application all the way to their last day of 21 years old. That means when your kids are 22 years old, they become independent for the immigration process and they no longer form part of the application that we submit to the government. Another very important question I get is, can I travel in and out of Canada with this investor work permit? And the answer is yes, you can. The government knows that most investors are also business owners in their own country. And that's usually the case it will be the case for you. And so you cannot just stay in Canada for every single day of the year, because many times your businesses abroad will require your presence. In this case, you are absolutely allowed to travel. There are no strict set amount of days that you can be in or out of Canada while you have this work permit. What we recommend is to show that you have an ongoing presence in Canada. What we mean by ongoing is not coming to Canada maybe for the first month that you get your work permit, and then going to your country of residency for 8 months, or even for 5 months. That's still a very long time, because remember, this is an active investment. You are supposed to be involved in the daily directing of this company and managing. So if you're leaving for 5 months, it'll be a little difficult to prove this. Of course, there's online and a lot of people can manage some of their businesses from abroad, but we really have to be conscious that we don't want to push our limits every time. So if the government is generous enough to not have put strict days, we don't want to get in a situation where later we have to defend our position. It's much better to show that you are in Canada most of the time during that year. One of the most important questions, of course, and you're probably wondering the same, is how much money do you actually have to invest for this program? Again, the government did not put a specific amount anywhere, but you are purchasing a business, and usually businesses will not cost only $10,000. It will be more. I can tell you that from our experience, businesses in the province of British Columbia, in the lower province, which is around Vancouver, greater area, businesses will be usually $100K or more. So an average investment amount is $150,000. maybe that money doesn't go all to purchase the business. Maybe your business costs you $130,000, but we still like to keep an additional $30,000 for enhancements to the business, or even for legal fees, or for your travel fees. So there's a lot of money that's going to go into just preparing the logistics of this whole operation. So it's very important that you are not too restrained with the amount of money that you are ready to spend. As I said, $150 is an average price. Now that we've covered the basis about the program and the kind of business, let's look at you more personally. Let's look at your profile. So you know which countries of citizenship or permanent residency will qualify for this program, but now let's look at your actual human skills. So the first thing that you need to know is whether or not you will need to speak English or French for this program. Now, if you're listening to me, you probably have at least an intermediate level of English fluency, and that's very good. So for the first step of the program, which will be the work permit application, you actually do not need a specific level. But again, as I always say, you're coming to Canada, you should be learning one of the main languages, which could be either English or French. And if you're coming to a city like Vancouver, for example, most people speak English. Unless your business can operate 100% just in French, then that would be great. Maybe you're opening a French school, which is highly needed in our market. Then you could just live your whole life in French, and that would be very good for you. But let's just say that's not your language of strength and you speak a little bit of English. We can still get you in Canada with a decent basic English, but I highly recommend that you improve your English for the day that you're going to apply for permanent residency. Again, the permanent residency program, which I'm not going to go into details in this video, is a point system, and you will get a lot of points for language. Therefore, I highly recommend to always be improving your English. Most of our clients are in Canada. When English is not their first language, they will hire a special tutor who will not only teach them more about the language, but will also prepare them for the specific exams that are required for permanent residency. All right, let's speak about your professional experience. A very common question is, I have a business in my home country, and the business that I want to purchase is very different in a completely different industry. Can I still go ahead and purchase it? Is this going to count? The answer is yes. We've had plenty of people purchasing businesses that have nothing to do with their home profession. Most of the time, maybe this is a coincidence, but a lot of time it's happened to us with doctors. As you may know, if you are a doctor, physician, a general medical practitioner, or surgeon, any type of doctor in your home country, you cannot come to Canada and just, keep working as a doctor. Therefore, a lot of our clients who were doctors and maybe operated another business or had their own private clinic in their countries will come here and purchase something completely different. Maybe it's a coffee shop, maybe it's a recycling kind of business, it could be something in manufacturing, anything that they want. Because what Canada wants is you proving the ability that you can manage this business. So what matters is what kind of management experience do you have? So we recommend minimum between 2, but preferably 5 years of experience as a business manager or a business owner. Next is education. Do you need a university degree in order to participate in this program? The answer, again, the straightforward answer is no, you do not need a university degree. With a high school, this will be more than enough to just qualify. However, qualifying is not always enough. You can be here with your work permit, but once we want permanent residency, qualifying is not enough. What we want for permanent residency is to accumulate as many points as possible, so we will be competing with others and we make sure that the government selects our profile. In this instant, having a university degree will really boost up your points. And so just for the permanent residency outcome and objective, I always recommend that you have a university degree. What happens if you don't have a university degree? In this case, we really have to look at your profile specifically. Maybe you're still young, maybe you're still in your early 30s, so your age can help you balance out your education, and maybe you are fluent in English, so those points will also be up. So if we can kind of maneuver a little bit the situation, you might be able to get away without your university degree, but in general terms, you kind of need one. The final and most important question: how likely is my application to be denied after I've gone through all this trouble of going to Canada and actually buying a business? The good news is that it's unlikely that it'll be denied. Of course, I cannot guarantee anything, and nobody can guarantee anything. But the two things that will come in the way maybe of being accepted or denied would be your medical or your past criminal activities. So you know yourself, if you have had any problems with the law in the past, you would definitely need to apply through a process for being pardoned before we start this journey. And if you have any medical conditions that would be grave and very serious and that would pose a threat maybe on the Canadian society or a huge burden on our public healthcare system, in this instance, you may be able to receive a work permit, but maybe not a permanent residency status. But maybe you can. We always have to discuss these things in detail privately. Which leads me to my very last point. If you think you are interested and you qualify for this program, I will encourage you to do 3 things. The first is subscribe to our YouTube channel. We upload videos like this frequently so you can keep up with the changes and the new things that are happening with immigration in Canada. The second thing is go to our website. On our website, I have put plenty of information, and there's a blog where you can keep up with the latest business trends in Canada. And third but not least, if you require more information, book a consultation with me. You can book it directly from the website, and it'll be a pleasure to help you and your family start this process.